only. But unfortunately, Tuesdays and Thursdays are a really bad day for my wife and I. We have to be at like four places at the same time. So I'm sitting in my car, waiting for my son to get out of soccer practice, but I'll try and get through the budget and the audit report as quickly as possible so we can move on to probably more important things. First, I'm going to start with what happened last year. We went through our annual PTA budget audit review. Typically, we have 3 people doing the audit. However, this year we had only 2, just depending on scheduling and circumstances. We had two folks, independent folks, do the audit. I'm not going to go through all the details. If anyone wants to see the audit in detail, certainly I can provide that at any time. If you have any questions, you can email me as well. But I just wanted to go through the 3 main findings that came out of the audit and see if anyone had any feedback or questions. The first was that the final annual report was provided. Well, when I say provided, I provided a summary of our final report, and a suggestion that was made from one of the auditors was to provide a more detailed written report at the year end. So that will be adopted, and we will do that going forward. The second suggestion was that last year, because all of our PTA meetings were virtual, we did not have any handouts. We did not have any substantial stuff to present during meetings. They were more of an Excel spreadsheet that I would show, or numbers, or I would talk about the budget. So one of the suggestions was that even when we do that, rather than just have a narrative summary that our secretary provides in the meeting notes, provide some type of, I don't want to say a report, but some type of printout or something of the current budget into the meeting notes. And so that will be adopted, and we will do that going forward. I'm not sure if we will need to do that, because it sounds like we're going to be doing a lot of these, if not all of them, in person. So handouts and such will be all included in the meeting notes. Okay, and then the last suggestion that they had was regarding the membership. Because we had moved over from, I don't know if some of you folks remember, but we used to use Member Hub, but now we moved over to PT Board. The way PT Board organizes the membership is a little bit different. And so when I provided the membership roster, the details of the membership and the costs associated to the membership paid were not well spelled out in the extract that I provided in the audit. So going forward, the suggestion was to provide all the details, including the fees that PT Board extracts from each of our membership payments. So the total fees, the total amount that we net as a PTA was included. However, the breakdown was not. So that was something that was suggested, and we will adopt that and use the more detailed extract going forward. Any questions about the audit? I think the room is muted, so I can't hear if there's anything.
No, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. There seem to be no questions, David, from the room.
Okay, so the next steps for the audit is I will connect with Allison to get a signature from the president, the current treasurer are required to sign, and then I will forward that on to the Virginia PTA for record keeping. Okay, so moving on to now the current and future. If I believe someone has the proposed budget up there on the screen. Is that correct?
I know we have printouts in person. I'm not sure we have it on the screen.
Not
Okay,
sure
so
if
you have,
we have it in person.
but you have the printouts.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I am going to do my best for those who are online to kind of explain what's going on in the budget. And I apologize, I don't have something to be able to display it for those who are online. But what I will do is I'll try and be as detailed as possible. So what we've proposed here in our draft budget, for those of you who were with us last year, you'll remember last year's budget was very simple. So we had to take out a lot of items from the previous year's budget because obviously because of COVID, we were not able to do things in person. So for example, if you look at the budget, there's yellow highlighting. Now the yellow highlighting represents events or expenses that we are planning to incur or collect this year because we've opened up and things are in person. So for example, bingo night. Obviously, we weren't able to do a bingo night last year, but the prior year we did. So we've worked that back into our budget for this year, hoping that we'll be able to do some sort of bingo night event. Again, family festival. These are things that we were not able to do. Possibly an 8th grade celebration in person. There are a lot of expenses that we were not able to incur because of we were not able to meet in person. So skate nights, any beautification costs to the school, international night. I think those are some of the big ticket items that we usually do from year to year. So if you take a look at the budget, and again, if you would like to see the draft budget, you can email me and I will send that to you. There's just things that we wanted to budget in because things are opening up, and hopefully we'll be able to use the funds accordingly. Yeah, I'm sorry. Mr. Harris is holding it up, and I can attest that I'm not able to read that. So again,
I'm doing my best.
yeah, no, it's all on me because I probably should have prepared to be able to share my screen or something. I don't have a laptop with me. I'm on my phone, but I will email that out. If you just reach out to me, I will email out the draft budget. Also, please keep in mind that it is a draft budget. If for those of you who are a little keen in numbers, you'll notice at the very bottom, Allison pointed this out as well, is that we have projected a net loss of up to $4,000. And now as the treasurer, I'm comfortable with that because when I was drafting this budget, I was very conservative in our income, but a little more aggressive in our expenses. And for those of you who are worried about the net loss, we actually have been carrying a net gain over the past several years. So we have a good pool of monies up to, I think right now, currently $10,000 to $12,000 that we are above budget. We have been saving up. So if this budget becomes true at the year end and we do incur up to a $4,000 net loss, we are okay. But I am pretty confident that we will be in the black because of the fact that I was very conservative in our budgeted income. And just case in point, like membership dues, I know our membership compared to last year at this point is I don't know the exponent, but it's nearly probably doubled or tripled at this point this last year. So I know I'm not sure if someone's going to speak to that during this meeting, but that's very encouraging to know. And so there are events that I think that we'll be able to make up the budget without any concern. Any questions? I know that was a lot, and I kind of speak fast. I'm trying to get through it so Mr. Harris gets his time.
So my question, which I probably shouldn't have to ask for former PTA presidents, but what do we do now with the budget? Are we voting on it tonight? Like, what happens with it?
Yes. So what happens with the budget, the draft budget, and also I failed to mention the audit report. The members who are currently on, and I'm not sure if we have to show a show of hands or what it is, but we basically vote to adopt the draft budget, and then it would just be considered approved.
Okay,
so that goes for the draft budget and the audit report.
Okay. So I know folks on the phone haven't really been able to see it. Do we have any questions from the folks on the phone before we do a vote? Are they able to like raise their hand or something?
Yes, they should be, I'm sure. Yep. Everybody should be able to raise your hand. If you click on the reactions button at the bottom, you can raise your hand if you'd like to raise your hand. Or you can type something in the chat.
Give folks about 30 seconds to figure that out.
Any plans on raising money? There's multiple fundraisers throughout the school
There
year.
are, so the big bingo night is the fundraiser, the family festival. Last year, the readathon was really successful. So that's something that hopefully we'll have a chair and be able to do that again. Restaurant nights, we do have a chair for that, so we're expecting to have some restaurant nights. But really, if you have ideas, we're open, particularly if you have ideas that you can help execute. Really, we're only going to be as active as the parents are. So we're thrilled so many people joined the meeting tonight. We need everyone to join the PTA. Please ask your friends, remind them to join, because that's, you know, not a fundraiser event, but that's how we get a lot of our money. When you're signing up for membership, you can also do a donation. So please do that. The more we raise that way, the fewer fundraiser events we're going to have. So can get this all done up front and just really focus on having fun for the rest of the year.
Yeah, one thing I will advocate for is the family photo session. I think that went pretty well last year. It's coming up in the fall, so, and we are, I guess, technically, I'm not sure if we're in the fall yet, but that's something that I believe from just hearing what Kathy had to do last year, it's not a heavy lift. You pretty much coordinate with the photographer. She gives you some dates and some times, and then we set that up on PT board for folks to go in and sign up a session and pay for. If you want easy credit to say, hey, I helped the PTA, I volunteered, that's something that you may want to jump on because it's very straightforward.
Yeah, so and just to answer one of the questions, we are in the process of updating the PTA website, but if you click on the banner that says 2020 to 2021, it will take you to the PT board for this year. So I think somebody said that in the comments, but that's the correct answer. And we will continue to push out information about volunteer opportunities as we sort of get into things. I will say I'm the parent of an 8th grader. Our experience last year was COVID, so I am really relying on the whole board and the whole community really to, you know, be very vocal about these are the things we do here at Frost, and this is what we want the PTA to be doing, and here's how we can help. So.
And I would ask that the website has been updated. So if you go to the homepage, there's the list of the board members, and then there's the activities that we have typically done in the past that we're hoping to do again. You'll see a lot of vacancies. Anybody who's interested and has some great ideas or has some free time and would love to champion any of those things, please reach out to us because we're spread pretty thin.
Yeah, and we'd love to have help and participation from 7th grade parents, so you guys have some historical knowledge going into 8th grade next year. All right, so do we now need a motion to pass the budget? Is that what we're doing here? All right, thank you, my former PTA president. Yes. All right, does anyone want to make, well, I can't make, can I make the motion? Okay. Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have somebody to second it? All right, so now I guess we're voting on it. Thank you. Okay, folks, all in favor, if you guys online can raise your hand electronically. Got like 2, keep voting, guys. There you go. We're just waiting for we're seeing the responses come in online, guys, so. It's Zoom. All right. Oh yeah, we're still waiting for the hand raising on Zoom.
19, 20, 21.
We've got some abstentions here. Got like 22 people, 24. All right, so I think I thought we're good. Do I have to ask anyone voting no? We're good. Okay, I think we just approved the budget. So thank you all. So David, I think then you can probably drop off. Oh, wait, the audit, well, I haven't seen the audit yet. So I'm not sure we're ready to approve the audit tonight. David? Are we?
Yes, I'm here.
Are we ready to approve the audit tonight? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we don't have to necessarily vote on the audit tonight. I will send it, I will somehow connect with you and drop it off or something. And then we can do that at the next meeting.
Okay, so stay tuned, folks. This is how we get you to come back. Vote on the audit next time.
Yes.
All right, so thank you, David. So I think we're gonna turn it over to you, Mr. Harrison, because I think you're really the main attraction.
The main attraction, thank you. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody on Zoom land and everybody here in room 106. It's so great to see so many people that are involved, actively involved in the Frost Middle School PTA. I'm really super excited about the school year. The school year has gotten off to a fantastic start. The kids are happy to be back here in school 5 days a week. The teachers are super excited to see the kids, so things are going pretty smoothly. Knock on wood, I'm knocking on everything here these first 3 weeks of school. So I just want to say kudos to your students. Kudos to our faculty and staff for all the hard work they put in to ensure that we have a smooth start. Things are not perfect, but I think have gotten off to a great start. A little bit about myself. My name is Anthony Harris. I'm the principal here at Frost Middle School. And one of the first two things I'll say to all of the families here in the room and online is that, I love Frost Middle School. This is my dream job. This is home for me. I used to be an assistant principal here 5 years, a long time ago, for 4 years, back from 2014 to around 2018, before I went off to be an assistant principal at Poe Middle School. And then I was appointed principal of Frost back in 2018. So I'm just really super excited to be here. The second thing that I like to tell families is that we're going to take care of your children here at Frost Middle School. We are one Frost family. I remind students every day to work hard every day, put forth their maximum effort each and every day to step forth, put into the building, be nice to one another. It doesn't cost you anything to be nice to one another and to widen your circle. We have over 9 feeder elementary schools. There's 9 school buildings, 9 school cultures, 9 different ways of doing things, and trying to bring all of those school buildings into one place. We have to make sure that we're always considering widening our circle, trying to bring people into your social group, into your social network, because we're going to need each other this school year. I'm not going to talk long. I'll go at the end, but we have a few guests in the room. They're going to talk a little bit about some things that are going on here at Frost Middle School. I think what I'll do is I'll start with Mrs. Reed. She's going to talk a little bit about Schoology. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope am I already sharing it? No. I'm going to share my screen. If I'm not sharing it, I'm going to share it now. And Mrs. Reed is going to give us a little bit more information about Schoology. We'll also hear a little bit like a condensed version of this at back to school night next week. But I wanted to have Ms. Reed come and share. So Ms. Reed is our school-based technology specialist.
I'm just gonna come be near you. So
You're
I
gonna
have
come
the
be near
microphone.
me. Okay, and I will, where did the mic? Oh, you got it. Here we go.
Okay,
Ms. Reed.
so hi, I'm the school-based technology specialist here at Frost. And if you guys haven't figured it out in the first 3 weeks, which I know is fast, it's an amazing place to be. So I'm happy you guys are with us. Schoology has replaced Blackboard and Google Classroom within our learning management systems across all of the FCPS. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because it's new to all of us. So we're going to talk about how you get access to Schoology, about the offering some clarity between the 2 grade books, what you'll see in Schoology versus what you'll see in SIS. Oops, got a little quick happy. We're going to review the tracking and submitting of assignments so that you can support your students. Learn about the Schoology calendar so that we can help our students with executive functioning, planning, time management, and then how to contact teachers, as well as sharing some resources that you can access on your own independently. So There is a quote from Abraham Lincoln about education and how it's very important and we're all involved in it. Okay, so how do you get to Schoology as a parent? First, you can't Google Schoology. I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, but it will be your first hurdle, okay? FCPS does not use a general Schoology URL, so we made our own, lms.fcps.edu. So once you go to there, then you'll be able to log in, your child will be able to log in. You as a parent will need to have a parent view account, okay? If you do not have a parent view account, you can submit a like one of those the tech tickets. You can email me, you can email Ms. Chang over in Student Services, and we will get you set up, okay? So that's how you get to it. So next, okay, you gotta click back on thing. Yep. So the SIS gradebook, you can access through Parent View or through Student View, so your student has access to this as well. On the menu on the left-hand side, there's an item for the gradebook, and then you'll be able to see each one of the classes. Okay. Oh, shit, shoot, so sorry. Okay. The SIS gradebook is our formal or official gradebook of record, which means that if you want to know how things are going, go to SIS. Okay. Because SIS will have all of the assignments in it versus Schoology will not. Okay. So official gradebook of record is SIS, and it'll have everything, whether it is in Schoology or, as it says, Flipgrid, Edpuzzle, paper that they handed out and then collected. Formative assessments. Formative assessments are what we do to figure out how the kids are. Where are their learning gaps? What did they connect well with? What didn't they connect well with? And how can we help them, fill those gaps? So, and we use it for feedback. Then we know how to, how to address it. So the Schoology gradebook will have assignments and assessments that are created in Schoology. And they'll be graded, so they'll be created and assigned in Schoology, and then they will be graded in Schoology. That grade will then also show up in SIS. Okay. I'd really like to just advise you to ignore the Schoology gradebook. But I know that it's there and it is a distractor. So, any questions about, yeah.
Yeah, so when you said the SIS, are you referring to the SIS parent account, like the regular dual?
Yep. So, sorry, yes, thank you for that clarification. When I refer to SIS, I'm talking about the student information system, which you all have parent view accounts to access. And then you can see information about your students.
All right, and for my clarification, for all of those clarification, the reason why the Schoology gradebook is not the most accurate one is because SIS is the actual gradebook of record, and Schoology and SIS do not talk to one another right now.
Okay,
Yep.
so that is a true statement. The gradebook and Schoology and the gradebook and the SIS gradebook do not talk to each other. And so only things that occur in the Schoology environment are going to show up in Schoology. SIS has things that occur everywhere. So if they take a Horizon assessment in math, that's going to show up in SIS instead of in Schoology, because that's an outside activity of Schoology. If there's an Edpuzzle, if there's a Flipgrid, those types of things. Second quarter, fingers crossed, like legs, toes, hopefully the Schoology gradebook will talk to SIS, meaning that it shouldn't really change anything for you guys. it will change it for our teachers, so they're not having to manually enter grades in 2 locations. And the way I'm describing it to our teachers is Schoology gradebook is for feedback to the students. That's where you give them feedback for them to grow. SIS is where their official grades exist. So hopefully second quarter, Schoology will talk to SIS, but it doesn't go backwards. So the grade books will always have some disparity.
So just past couple days, I'm getting inter progress reports from schools. So do I take those grades as being, so I don't take those grades as being accurate. That's just the grade for the Schoology assignments, is that correct?
Probably.
The interim progress report should be coming from parent view.
Should be coming from SIS parent view. But as they're turning in work, as they're doing things, depending on what your notification settings are, you could be getting notified that they are turning something in, that a due date's coming up, that,
Oh. So you can do that.
so,
That's a good.
great. But this week, progress reports should be being sent out by the teachers through SIS.
I'm sorry, look at my email right now.
Yeah, so Frost,
I'm happy to come over and look at the end of this and help you figure it out.
so at Frost, I will say this at Frost, one thing that I've asked teachers to do is to send out progress reports on top of what SIS automatically does to parents automatically. So you'll have more detailed information from teachers. And so that's something that, we offer as a customer service piece here at Frost Middle School. Other schools don't do that. Typically, they'll send out, I think once per week or something like that, they'll send out a snapshot of a letter grade only.
FCPS does that.
FCPS does that. But for us, we send out, I think once every 4.5 weeks or so, we send out detailed progress reports. So.
I'm sorry, what?
The email from the teacher where he sent like the progress and sent the link for school. So I started to see.
So that is, so that's a SIS, that is a SIS, SIS generated progress report, but they put in the notes something to the effect of go to Schoology direct. So you get that.
All right, so that's what I'm looking at.
We're doing real-time IT support here.
So assignments in Schoology. That is.
Seventh grade, not here, progress report, because I haven't gotten any communication from any of my teachers.
We just sent directions and stuff out today.
Okay,
so-
so I'm not missing anything from my teachers.
Nope,
Okay.
it's coming.
Okay, and then my second question is, my daughter says that she looks at Schoology in school. Is she only looking at Schoology, or is she also looking at SIS for her grades?
I don't know. I know that often in Falcon Focus, our teachers direct students to look at student view so that they can, which is in SIS, for them to fit, what are they missing? What are they doing? How's it going? But probably on the day-to-day, like I'm in class and I'm doing an assignment, that's going to be in Schoology.
So she'll look at both. So if I talk about something, she'll know what I'm talking about, because she's looking at both at school.
She should be, but definitely Schoology because we're using that instructionally in class.
And, just one thing, I think you said that you had information updated about faster, but I right now, for example, for math, I'm seeing that it's updated in Schoology and has the right results, but not in SIS. And SIS is actually not correct.
So currently Schoology and SIS do not talk to each other.
Right.
So the teacher updated the grade in Schoology where the work was done and will probably be updating the SIS grade soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are 3 ways that Google can be integrated into Schoology. And each one of them functions slightly differently. So the teacher assigns a Google file and each student gets an editable copy that is automatically shared with the teacher. Teacher assigns a task and asks students to create and upload some sort of file. Or teachers assign something to do outside of Schoology and it's just linked inside Schoology. So they just click on the link and it takes them to wherever they're supposed to go.
Sorry, an example of that I think is my job is Khan Academy.
Yep.
Okay, so that leads into my next question. The Khan Academy assignments are in Schoology. She does them through Khan Academy, but there's no way to reflect that in Schoology. So that really doesn't make a difference then, because I get reminders that she hasn't done the work, she hasn't done the assignments, but I want you to do it. I know it's done. So there's no, I'm assuming there's no communication between like Khan Academy to Schoology, so there's no
Right.
way for Schoology to know that she's done the assignment.
Right.
Okay, so the reminders I get that the assignment's not done. So,
Is due to the
it's up
teacher.
It's up to me to make sure she does it. Which is fine, I mean, that's the way it works. So-
Well, it depends. We're getting a little gray.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Teachers have the ability to create a class in Khan Academy and then turn in the work there. So they put the assignment so that it has a due date and it has those reminders in Schoology. But then they can track progress in Khan Academy, but then they'd have to come back to. So that would be 3 places for a teacher. So I would definitely recommend going to SIS, skip over Schoology.
So, let's just summarize it, like proactively, if we want to see what is due that day or at summit. It sounded like schools you had sort of that listed. Are you saying that right? What is the source of truth for us, the parents? That night to check what is due tomorrow or this week?
We're gonna get to the calendar in just a moment. But you're right, if you log in on the dashboard, when you log into Schoology, on the right-hand side, there is upcoming assignments and past due assignments right there listed for all of their classes.
But it sounds like what you just said, though, not all of their schoolwork is gonna be Schoology schoolwork, so we're kind of blinded to anything that's not gonna go to Schoology.
So I can tell you what I have met with all of our teachers at Frost and said,
We need something, so they see.
they can create calendar appointments so that it shows up in that to-do list with a due date, even if it's not an assignment that's being posted. So that way, if there's a religious holiday and they're having an assessment the day after, it's there ahead of time for planning and knowledge. So they
They're
do
all
have,
on board with doing that, so we hope.
everyone I've talked to has shown excitement about having that potential for
One place for assignments.
Right.
Let's just be able to see something.
for communication with you guys.
Just one place.
I mean, in the end, we're all a team, right?
Because if we had to wait till we saw it in SIS, that's already after it's missing.
Yeah.
Right.
Radar missing,
Exact-
not
right.
coming up.
Right, exactly. Right, because typically this, right, yes. Okay,
So is that place of the to-do list in Google Classroom?
yes.
Well, I didn't even know that.
Well,
I finally just figured that out last year and then.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that's the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the ways that a teacher can assign a Google assignment, it will look like this, where a student will click on the assignment. It'll give the teacher's description of what it is, and then they'll click on My Document. And that's the one that they will edit and then submit. Okay? And so that's what it looks like. They would open it, they would see what it is, they would write over top, like they would edit it, add their stuff. They would click Submit Assignment. It would ask them to confirm that they want to submit the assignment and then say yay, and then good job, you did it. Okay. So then how do you look at it? How do you see it, right? So if you pulled up the parent view from the calendar, is you would look at it like this. So that's what that version would look like for you. Where it would tell you what the name is, and then it'll give you the description. Okay, and I talked to Mr. Harris already. This presentation will be shared with you guys for your reference, you know. So then type 2 is they attach an assignment to it, But then instead of it having their own copy of it, they'll need to submit with this button. And then it'll say, are you sure? And you'll say yes. And then ta-da, they've submitted. And going down the side, the teacher will see everybody's name who has submitted. Okay. And so then the difference between that one and this one is this one, it shows you submissions and the revision. Okay, so it's that line is really the difference. Another assignment is, this type of assignment might be asking students to complete something in another format. So they won't be clicking anything, but it's, they won't be submitting anything, but it may show as overdue. Okay. Which I'd like to try to avoid, and that's why I'm pushing the calendar appointment. So that way there isn't that thing. So it's either they have a button to submit and then it gets it off the list, or it goes on the calendar and it shows up in their due dates, but it doesn't have any button to submit, so it won't stay nagging at them and be a distractor for their learning. So using the calendar, when you log into Schoology, up at the top right, there's a little calendar icon. And so you can click on that. Okay. And so if you pull up the calendar, it'll show all of the events across all of their classes, anything with a due date or a start date. So if there's a date associated with it, it will show up on the calendar. And when you hover over top, a bubble will appear and it will give you the information about that assignment, what class it's in, what type of assignment it is. And then you click on it and it would open up into the previous where you can see more details, the description and things like that.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Hi, if you're trying to show us Schoology on screen, we don't see anything. All we see is 3 types of assignments, the PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm just walking through that slide deck. So I'm not actually in Schoology currently.
Okay.
So right now you should see a screen that says understanding the Schoology calendar.
No,
You see that?
says 3 types of assignments.
I wonder if there is a lag.
Now it's up.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know.
You're welcome.
So in Schoology, when you're looking at the calendar and you're hovering over the items, or if you're looking at the content that's been posted, these symbols will be frequently visible. And it represents which item type they are. I'm also excited to say, and this is, we got a fresh start with Schoology. And what that meant was that we got together as a team of core teachers and admin and support people and said, what do we want as Frost, our Schoology to look like? And then I got together with our pyramid of people and we said, how can we make us similar? Not necessarily the same, but make it more convenient for all of you guys to navigate. And so at Frost, your entry to every single one of our classes will look the same. It will have teacher information, which has your syllabus, has how to contact the teacher. It has current lessons or units. That's what they're currently doing. Right now, everything is there for the most part, because we're only 3 weeks into school, but that will be changing every quarter so that gets out of the way. So then we have a previous units and lessons. And I feel like there's one more, I just can't remember what it is. But every one of our classes has that same setup to help you guys navigate and support and figure out where things are. Parent notification settings. Under settings in Schoology, you can change your notifications. And I'm going to wait a minute just in case there's lag. But under settings for your account, you can go to notifications and then you can change what you want to have done and when you want it, which is very nice. And if you wanted to, you could step into the brave new world and turn it all off. I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying, you know. So contacting teachers, Schoology, FCPS has chosen not to support parent and teacher communication through Schoology. So on the Frost website is our staff directory. And you can go through and you can find anybody that's there. You can also go into parent view and you can look at the class schedule and find the teacher there. And they're all hyperlinks, so you can access. God bless you. And then we do our best to respond to emails within 2 days. Or 48 hours, you know.
When you go through parent view, it will automatically put your student's name and what period class they're in. So it just, I think, does make it easier for the teacher to know who you're emailing about. So that's the way I like to do it.
Thank you. We've been having rolling Q&As, but what other questions do you guys have at this point? Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things about Google Classroom is way of using it, Stream, all these other places. Do you feel like the school the teachers will be using it in a more consistent manner across?
So what I can say is that we all have that same initial entry of organization. I would say that it would depend on the student population. It would depend on the content. There's a lot of variables in there. And we are just beginning to step into this pond as a community. So we will figure it out together as we navigate.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, as a school community and as a division, this is the first time that every school is using Schoology besides some of the private schools from last school year. And, you know, if you take a step back, remember before it was, you know, Blackboard versus Google Classroom. You know, we used to be in Blackboard, all the assignments, materials were in Blackboard, but teachers were moving from Blackboard to Google Classroom and parents were saying, well, I can't access Google Classroom unless I have my son or daughter's login information. And so the response to that was to come up with a different learning management system to stop that, you know, kind of jousting from happening, so to speak. And so Schoology was the answer to that question. And so Fairfax County has rolled this out 3 weeks ago for all teachers to learn and navigate and updating, you know, for class and assignments. We're learning as we're going, you know, the more we use it, the better we'll get. And so, you know, while with grades, you can't have too much patience, I am asking for some patience as teachers learn how to navigate the system. And it's our hope that through some of these standardization processes that Mrs. Reed talked about with all of our teachers, that what you'll see from the outside is a little bit more user-friendly and definitely less, you know, frustrating with the Google Classroom.
And this isn't necessarily, you won't see this, but teachers can now see workload. So when they're thinking about when they're gonna do their test or they can whatever, they can pull up workload for their kids in their class and be like, oh crap, we were gonna do Thursday, but that ain't gonna work because look at all of the other stuff that they have too. That's not being good custodians of their, you know. So that's a nice benefit as well that we have to better plan and be aware of what's happening across our building to support our students. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
My daughter expressed concern early on about Schoology because she said she couldn't distinguish between work that was assigned as classwork and work that was assigned as homework, which is so she felt like she couldn't see.
It sounds like the learning curve that we're all experiencing. I would definitely encourage her to reach out to her teacher that specifically where those concerns are, manifesting. But we do have a Falcon Focus class, which is largely a support session where no content, no academic content is taught. And a lot of support happens just like that about how to navigate or how to do. But you've brought up a great thing, and I'm happy to support naming conventions that are for the staff that are more clear in that. Other questions?
Any questions from the folks online? We're waiting for the chat to come up. for folks.
And here are a few resources that are available from the FCPS webpage. Some documents and some are videos, so depending on your preference.
Seems like a little bit of lag here for Zoom.
Yeah, and if you're not able to submit questions and you don't want to, if you want to contact the school through me, I'm happy to accept questions and pass them along as well.
You can always reach out to your son or daughter's student services counselor for support as well.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Ms.
so much.
Reed. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll have Mrs. Metzger come up next, talk a little bit about the after-school program. Ms. Metzger.
Everybody got one of these lists?
Yay! So I'm really excited that we're going to be in person this year. Virtual was a challenge last year with having clubs when kids are used to interacting and being together. So we tried really hard to have kids have those connections. Now that they're back in school, we're really going to have them. I myself am learning Schoology as well. So a lot of this stuff is just going right over my head because it's like you can only retain so much of this information. But we are several of the clubs are going to have what's called a group in Schoology. So, like with the Google Classroom, they would have something set up for their club and information. Not all clubs, just some clubs. And I put those access codes on this list. Now, this is going to probably go out to all of our parents next week sometime. Now, I just got this finished today. So it'll go out. So it's hot off the press. You guys just got this. So we'll send it out like a news you choose, and we'll attach this so everybody will have access to it. It'll get posted in all of the classrooms outside of my room. It'll be on the school webpage, but on the webpage, it'll just list what clubs each day. It won't give any of the particulars about what room they're meeting in or the access codes or any of that. In Schoology, we'll have this that the kids can access with all the access codes as well. So after school is going to start in a few more weeks on the 27th, 5 days a week, 2:30 to 4:30. We have late buses 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then parent pickup lines are on Tuesdays and Friday. Pardon? Somebody? Nope. Okay.
So you should.
Oh,
Yeah, if I can. Yeah, I'm trying to.
That's why
We're hearing somebody's conversation, so if you're on the line,
Mhm.
Pressure.
Mhm.
In this unit, you have to deal with
Oh,
Good kids.
sorry, we're
18.
trying to hard mute the line.
trying too hard.
Yeah, you have to wake up 5, 4 in the morning. Go to
Oh.
sleep. School at like,
Of course, it's like,
We'll
it's
get
like,
better at this current stuff.
yeah, it's like frozen for some reason on my side. Okay, go ahead, Deb.
okay. So anyhow, we've got a really good a broad range of activities that we're offering kids this year with our sports and our arts. We've got a full drama program. Drama's not on here, but we're getting ready to have auditions for our play, which is going to be, I think, Alice in Wonderland. They're going to put it on late November, December. So kids will be coming. That it's usually a very large group of students that participate in that and have practices multiple days a week. We're going to have a drama. They're good. It's not on this list right here because she's not doing a drama club, but she does a drama play in the fall, and then she'll do another one in the spring, and then they do something with a Frost Follies type of performance. And we have a lot of kids that can participate in that, not only in acting, but also behind the scenes. So what I'll be going into the cafeteria and talking to the kids probably the week before after school starts, and just I'll get this out to them, and I'll let them know if there's something that they're very passionate about and that they want to do, and it's not on this list. All they need to do is come and talk to me, and I will help them find a sponsor, and we'll make that club happen. Because this club is about them, not about me and what I think they want. Because my kids are grown, and they're into all kinds of stuff now, and I don't know what all that is. So I depend on them to let me know what they want in their program, and then I do my very best to make that happen for them. I encourage student-led clubs. It's good leadership skills for the kids. We have quite a few of those as well. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So when it says for access, do they go home and access it?
No, okay, so that is to join the Schoology group where the club sponsor will be posting things about the club.
But they still meet.
Yes, they still meet in person. These codes are not turned on yet. There's no content. This was actually just set up today. So, yeah. Right. And so like I do cooking and baking. I'll be posting recipes. I'll encourage the kids to take pictures of what they cooked, and they can post the pictures. Kind of what we did with the virtual last year. So it's that stream, that another way of connecting. But exactly. Yes.
So with the theater, it's like that.
They practice pretty much every day.
So are they able to join later to find out they are selected for art play?
A club?
Yeah.
You can go, the kids can go to any club any day of the year.
Okay.
The only clubs that they have to make a commitment to would be like Model United Nations, because they go to competitions. Technology Student Association, they go to competitions. Science Olympiad, they go to competitions. Pretty much that's about it. Math counts. We'll have math counts, and if they do, if they get with drama. But everything else, they can go like one Monday they go to chat club, and the next Monday they go to movie club, and then they go to pride club. They can go to whatever they want to go to. They can even go to 2 clubs in one day. Yeah, and some of these clubs are only for 1 hour, so the second hour they can go to a different club. So they're not locked into it. If they go to it and say, "Oh, this is not my cup of tea, I want to try something else," they don't even have to go back again.
So they can just drop in?
Yeah.
They don't have to write their name or tell the teacher.
Well, we have full accountability for students knowing where they are at all times. So I'm kind of old school because I'm old. When the kids go into a club, there's going to be a good old piece of paper there, a pencil, and they're going to sign their name on it. So I know what club that they were at. And then I enter that into a database. I could have them come and log onto the computer like we did last year virtually and sign in, but I feel very disconnected. I don't know who's staying after school. It's just a bunch of names there. When I'm handling those sheets and I'm looking who's going to what club, I feel more of a connection to the kids. I know who's staying after. I know what they're interested in. So that's why I like to do it old school. It works for me.
Parents know which club they're dropping in. So like if my daughter says I'm staying after school and I got a club and she chooses a different club, how do I know?
You don't. That is communication that you need to have with your child. You need to talk to them about what kind of things they're going to do. A lot of the kids have phones. I do allow phones after school with club sponsor permission. So I'll give you another example. When they come in the cooking club, they don't get to use their phones. They're there to cook. They're there to clean. They're there to eat. They want to use it to time something or take a picture, fine, but I don't want them in there playing on their phones. But parents can call their kids or they can text their kids and say, "Hey, I'm going to pick you up at this time. I need you to sign out of the office and go." So it's that communication that we want parents to have with students.
For kids who don't have phones, how does that work?
They can use the main office, or there's phones in all the classrooms. Mhm. And yes.
So if they want to send their members without, like, to have a
Mhm.
if they have a function.
Yep, they can leave at any time during the after-school program. They have to go to the front office. We have a sign-out sheet. So again, there's that student accountability. We know where they are, that they've left. Because if I have a parent come and say, oh, I'm here to pick up blah, 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 and they're not here, that's my word of the day, blah, blah, blah. I've used it more than once today.
If you take the bus, then how would you know when they will be dropped off?
So
That should be in 6, right?
we haven't gotten the late bus list yet. I mean, I've already told transportation when we're gonna start. I can tell you that a few years ago, when we were having after school, okay, the after school program ends at 4:30. Buses get here at 4:45, between 4:30 and 4:45, and they're all generally out of here by 5 o'clock. Okay, so you kind of plan on that. So usually in the beginning, we get parents a little panicked. Well, the after school program is at, ended at 4:30 and it's 5:15, my child's not home yet. Well, the bus is just left at 5 o'clock. So kind of plan for that.
Yeah,
I
it
know
should
that.
be in 6, there should be under transportation.
Yeah,
It should have when their late bus would get there. I think mine's like 4:45 or 5:45, so it's some of them are late.
yeah, and we go into lunches with a list and help the kids and tell them what their late bus is, so that they can write it down, or we'll have those lists all year. We can access that. There's a program on the computer. We can access that. So, yes, ma'am.
Are there descriptions of these plugs in there?
Well, as I was waiting for this meeting to start, I was in my office diligently working on that. Yes, I've got to get a few more club sponsors to give me their descriptions, but that also will be getting sent out probably next week to everybody with news and tubes. Yes, they'll have those start in time. Like we do have one virtual club, which is a virtual poetry club. And Mr. Verbicar does that. He did it last year. Small group of kids went to it. They loved it. And they did some of the most amazing writing of poems. I highlighted some of them in the yearbook, and I'll probably do the same thing again this year. So I try to have something for everybody, because, some kids are into science, some kids are into art, some kids just want to go play sports. So, if I have a club that only has 3 or 4 kids, I'm fine with that, because that's giving those kids what they need. They're finding some peers, making some connections, they're in a safe place, and they get to do something they love to do. So, yeah. Oh, are you kidding? I love my job. Yeah.
I have a 5th grader who would like to be an anime club.
Yeah,
All right.
once the after school program starts, then middle school officially starts.
Yeah.
So.
But I wanted to give everybody a month. Teachers, with everything we've had to learn, and all of the stress of going through COVID and the worries about being back, everybody just kind of needed to get settled into the groove, and then the fun stuff gets started. So, I'm Debbie Metzger. Metzker.
I just wanted to add, to remember you saying this in the past, that it's important that students know that they can't leave and come back. Right?
They cannot leave and come back.
Once they leave, they're gone.
Yeah, because I'm responsible for them after school. We're responsible. And if they leave, you guys think they're here, but they go across the street and they get in trouble, and none of us know where they are. So it's middle school. We want to really emphasize that parents make that connection with their kids. Tell them what's allowed, not allowed. We don't want you going across the street. Yeah, they do go across the street. And yes, parents will say, yeah, you can go to Lifetime, but that's between the parent and child. I'm not going to tell them they can't go over there, because that's not my job. But once they leave, they can't come back and get on a bus. I'll make them call home.
Thank you, Ms. Metzger.
Can't wait to start. I'm so excited. Thank you, everybody.
And then we have Mr. Barrett, is one of our assistant principals, and he is in charge of everything renovation here at Frost Middle School. For those of you guys in the room and online, for some reason, the Zoom software is frozen on my computer. So I had to pull it up on my phone so I can try to navigate as best as I possibly can. But Mr. Brett, if there's anything you'd like to add about the motivation for the good of the group, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Joe Brett. I'm one of the assistant principals here. This is my 8th year here at Cross. And like
You might want to come over close to the.
I also used to be an AP over at Poe Middle School. But just some of the updates on the building. So we're in 3 phases. Phase 1 is the construction phase, which is what's happening now. It's kind of we're having two big additions built to the building, one in the front, and then one is kind of like a U shape that starts over at door 2, wraps around the building, and then ends where the blacktop used to be. The goal, and right now everything's on schedule. We might even be a little ahead of schedule, which is kind of nice. When I say we, I mean, like, I work at Frost. I'm not with design and construction. I'm just kind of like the liaison for the staff here. Once that's done, everyone inside the building is going to move to the new parts of the building. And then next school year is going to be the full renovation of the rest of the buildings. And then that summer, so now we're talking summer of 2023, the 3rd phase happens, which is when they redo the cafeteria, the gyms, and then finish with all the utilities. And then once that's all done, everyone from the trailers and the modular unit will move into the building. So if everything goes according to schedule, and like so far so good. I mean, we're really surprised with as much work has been going on around here. They're on schedule. So there's been a lot of bumps, a lot of obstacles, but they're doing great. Fall 2023, we'd open with a brand new building, everyone inside the building. I mean, Anthony and I were here all summer and it was nuts. And we were like, we do not know how we're going to have school with this. But honestly, we've had very little interruptions. We were here, there was a period of time where, depending on what part of the building you're in, you had AC or internet, but not both. And then we had a part where you had AC and internet, but not water. And like we're kind of just in awe how the school year has gone off without a hitch with regards to the construction part. Yeah. And we kept staff members all summer were like, do you think we might like get a power outage day and not have to come in? Like, no, it's not happening. Like, or how bad it gets, we're here every day. But we haven't had it yet. So things are looking pretty good. And again, there's the real concern we've had is the noise. And there's just been, no one has complained about the noise. And I don't know if that's just a factor of kids are used to it or what, but at any given time, you can walk around, you can hear a mason saw, you can hear a jackhammer, you can watch an excavator put together a building, and no one's really complaining. It's not interfering with construction or anything. So we've been happy about that. We've had 2 fire drills, which again is a challenge because there's not a lot of places for kids to go. And those have gone off kind of without a problem. So, there's just great leadership here at the school. So otherwise, things are going well. That's our update.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I'll just add to that, we went from having 5 exits to 2. So there's a little bit of a challenge for those bottlenecks at door 1 and door 2 between class periods. But again, the students have been doing very, very well. There's 7 minutes between classes. And for the most part, everybody's where they need to be within 5 minutes, which we're really happy about that. Very few, if any, students that are tardy. Obviously, this is the honeymoon period of middle school, but we're really happy about that. And actually, lockers have a lot to do with that as well. Not having lockers, oh my goodness, the amount of time that has reduced has been just amazing. So we're really super excited about the progress with students and getting to class on time and being ready for learning. The last thing, and that in the future, for everybody that's listening, the principal's report does not usually take this long.
Go to the agenda, sorry.
Yeah, but we want to give folks a lot of information. So back to school night is next Tuesday. Back to school night is a fully virtual event. And so what we'll have is teachers are submitting Flipgrid videos so parents can access their teachers' individual videos by using their parent view account. They can go through your child's schedule and click on the videos online. That website will be made live next Tuesday, but we'll also have 2 times on Tuesday, one at 9 a.m. and another session at 7 p.m. next Tuesday for families to kind of live stream like they're doing tonight and hear about some of the Frost Middle School 101 from admin. This is a good test tonight to see how things are going with Zoom. Next week, we'll have a Zoom webinar feature, which is something that we are just learning how to operate. So I'm trying to figure out how interactive we'll be with that. So folks will have to be patient. The meeting function of Zoom only allows about 300 families or people to access. The webinar allows up to 1,000 people to be on. So that's why we're going to offer 2 sessions, so families can choose either session that they think is convenient for them. And again, the information will be sent out tomorrow, and then again on Monday, and then again on Tuesday, so everybody can have those links if you want to log in to see that live admin view about Frost Middle School 101. A lot of the information that we've heard tonight, actually.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Really appreciate it. In the interest of time, I don't really have anything new to say, so I'm gonna turn it over to Pam to do the vice president's report.
And I don't have actually that much to add either, other than, like I said, the website has been updated. There's also PT board. So there's 2 separate sites and there is different information on both. So if you have questions, please look through there. Some of the forms were not used last year because of how things went with COVID. So I'm in the process of updating those, but there should be enough information in there for you. The other thing that I'm gonna start working on next is the grant program. It's usually in the fall and in the spring. I think it was last year, the year before, I think it was over $10,000 that we had in grants. It's spent on a lot of great things. One of the interesting things that Ms. Metzger talked about is the sewing class or whatever. One of the things, I think Frost is the only school in Fairfax County that offers sewing, and the sewing machines is one of the things that goes with the grant program every year. So it's just one more thing that we do. I think that's the end of September or early October, and I'm going to be working on that next, and there'll be information coming forward about that soon.
All right, so are we ready? We have to approve the June meeting minutes? Yeah, people want to just take a moment to bring us through those. It was a small group back in June.
Very small group.
So I'm not sure the folks online have it. So it was the election of new officers, the treasurer's report, the principal's report, which was given by Mr. Barrett, the vice president's report, and approval of the PTA meeting minutes. So it was a pretty quick meeting, unlike this one. So maybe do a motion. All right. I move to approve the. Can I move? All right, Tom move. I think someone else. All right, so we've got a motion. We have a second. We've got a second. All right, if you are voting to approve, please raise your hand or say aye. Folks, we can't see the screen anymore, so I'm going to trust Mr. Harris to let us know if some people are voting.
Are we allowed to vote if we're not members?
I'm sorry?
Are we allowed to vote if we're not members yet, paid members yet?
I don't think so, is the answer we're getting. So please join. All right, I'm gonna go with we're approved.
I see 6 hands raised here.
Okay. We have folks in the room as well.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna consider the June meeting minutes approved. All right. In the interest of time and getting out of here before 9, we only had sort of questions. So I guess just open it up to the folks online if there's any questions before we adjourn. We'll give everyone about a minute to raise their hand or put something in the chat.
I do see some hands raised.
Maybe they're still voting.
Oh, maybe you're still voting. I'm sure. Okay. How do they know who's paid?
Sorry?
How do you know who's paid? I guess,
Oh, how do, oh.
I guess for voting purposes.
Oh, I
Probably
mean,
wouldn't.
yeah, if somebody wants to challenge the vote in the meeting minutes, you can go ahead and lodge a formal complaint. We do, for like things like electing officers, we do have the list. But for this, you're on your honor.
Yep. See,
Anything else?
are there any other questions? Nobody has their hand raised at this point.
All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much. Our next meeting will be, I think, the first Tuesday of October, and we'll put out some information. And thank you for everyone for tuning in and staying logged on. And hopefully our meetings will be a little bit shorter going forward.
Definitely be assured.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
I'm a good guy on technology. And I should have said, you know, when I was talking about Blackboard, I was actually thinking about how we went through. All the Google Docs was just. Not Google Docs. Hey, how are you? Oh, no, that's okay. What I was gonna say is, you know how we did that night where the four of us were on the Zoom? Or finding in the garage and I'm getting in my email, like, oh my God.
Let me tell you.
Just in that, like, even if it was like a 30-minute, whatever, just so, because it's so hard to email, it's just easier to have.
For sure. We'll get better. Getting all that.
They're fine.
Gathered.
We're learning. That's how you know you've got to learn. It's not like spirit, it's not spirit, but it's got to work. As a parent, it's so I like, oh, how do I not know this? How it's funny and not to lay out and see the light. It's a beautiful thing. It's so much now that's the limit going up.
And then I wrote. Honestly, I mean, I'm the same people.
Oh, always have more than the best that you have. Oh, my heart goes up. And then I'll be like,
Oh, there we go.
You haven't had any yet. Yeah. Just one. Yeah. Spindle's pretty hard to do it. It's very small buildings, very little equipment, a lot of it built in years. You can't see that at the bottom. Yeah, it's all about limiting exposure.
Hello. Hey. Oh, I don't know what happened to the Zoom thing. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, if you could join us on the night session.
Okay.
The morning session. But
Okay.
yeah, how to join.
I'll be prepared. I'll come down.
Okay, perfect. I have a slide deck, and you'll be on at the very beginning.
Okay, I'll go see. I'm gonna try to see what the teacher had.
Oh, yeah.
We'll pull something together. I'll
Okay.
be a little bit better.
No, this is, you know what? 7 people.
I know, it's crazy.
And double the membership already. You're doing fantastic. Everything else.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
Everything else.
keep going. Yeah.
Okay, well, that Tuesday, if you, I gotta figure out with Mrs. Reed, if I can add you in as a co-host beforehand, so you're not like kicked off, so I'm gonna see, I'll see how that works.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Just email me what time you want me to log on.
Well, you know what, if you can log on like 6:45, that'll work.
Oh, and that's good. I thought, my daughter would be happy because I thought I was gonna, she has something and I thought I was gonna be able to, I thought it was earlier.
Yeah.